You need to ask yourself, could I go, into the Amazon rainforest and have 0 cell reception for a full month at the busiest time of year? And would my business be 95% the same when I got back or better?
Welcome back to Envisioning Success. I'm Laura DiBenedetto, joined by Julia Becker-Collins, always killing it, always being Humpty Dumpty, and today she has survived the wall. Hooray!
I did. Yeah. Another day above ground.
Yes, this is good. That's a long-term joke, and it's, Julia's always like doing all these crazy fitness adventures and rucks and coming back with this little battered part of her body and banged up knees and this and that, but she keeps going. God bless you. So that's a good thing. All right. So this episode is going to be talking about scaling and going over some of the top questions regarding scaling and how we can really give you the truth of those. So buckle up. If you missed the last 3 episodes, that really sucks for you, but you do have the power to change that. So make sure that you go listen to the last 3 episodes or watch them. You pick your poison. But they're there to help you. And this show only costs you, just ticket for entry is a little of your time. That's it. So today we're going to be talking about how and why most people think they want to scale, but they're actually not set up for it. I'm going through 5 questions. And the first one is, how do I know if I'm ready to scale? And my first inclination and answer for this is, if you can step away without the whole thing falling apart, you're close. Scaling is incredibly dependent on systems. It is dependent on removing you from being the bottleneck, and it is all about using redundancies to help you be the business owner, the business driver, the business engineer. If you are still very much trapped in operations and delivery, you're not ready to scale.
100%. When I first came on board at Vision 9 years ago, which is crazy, one of the things we worked on, myself and Laura, is trying to remove her from the sales process. That she needed to be able to go away really like for a month and have it have almost no impact on the business. Not 0, but almost none. And that took a lot of time, because you think you can go away for a month, but I promise you, if you are essential to day-to-day operations or sales or running payroll or really anything, then you can't go away for a month. You need to ask yourself, could I go, into the Amazon rainforest and have 0 cell reception for a full month at the busiest time of year? And would my business be 95% the same when I got back or better? And if you can't say yes, then you are not ready.
I knew that we had done a good job scaling the company when I left for 4 months and everything was fine, despite you having a few heart attacks while I was gone. I left for 4 months on do not call me unless things on fire. And even then, probably still don't call me.
Yep.
And I came back and everything was fine.
Yeah. But that took a significant amount of work over the course of 2 years.
To prepare for that.
Correct. Yeah.
I loved that 4 months. That was awesome.
I didn't. It was terrible. As my eye starts twitching just thinking about it.
And how did that make you feel?
It was great.
Oh, God. Sorry, man. Hey, but we survived, and it proved,
True.
that you could do a lot more than you thought you could. And it also proved that I built something great. You helped me build something great. The team is great. Like that, yeah, it'll hold. It's important. Yes. We leak-proofed it, and
yes.
we tested it. So that's great. The second question is, can I scale with bad clients on my roster? Julia, you take this one.
Again, my eye is going to start twitching. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see me make all of the faces. No, I'm going to say no, that you can't scale with bad clients on your roster. Bad clients are like a disease. They're going to infect everything. Or it's like a leak in your roof. That water is going to get everywhere. They affect the team morale. They affect your bottom line. They affect your
Mhm.
profitability. They affect your ability to do your job as a leader. They affect your mental health and sanity. They affect literally the health of your staff, because if people are losing their mind every day, they will get sick. Mental health is fully connected to physical health. They affect your desire to want to scale. Why would you want to deal with more jackasses like that? They affect your ability to create a larger company. They affect your ability to increase your pricing. They affect your ability to change anything about your business, because they're going to complain about all of it. Is it obvious that I've had some experience in this realm, or is it just me?
Yeah, it might be obvious, but I mean, everything that you're saying is right. And here's the thing, I want to be very, very clear about this. Bad clients, it doesn't mean they're bad people. We're not
Right.
casting judgment on them as people, but they can be a really bad fit for you. So in the 25 years since Vision has been around, we've had a lot of wonderful clients. We've had a lot of bad clients. And I would say 9 times out of 10, these bad clients were awesome people. They just weren't really a great fit. This was much earlier in my career when I wasn't as good at pre-qualifying people or finding a good cultural fit for the agency. Sometimes there was just a misalignment of expectations. Things were very hard. I remember one time I didn't realize this, but I had actually taken on a client who liked to yell at and berate my staff. He was very, very charming when I was going through the sales process. Yeah. So anyway, that went well. We managed to convert this fine fellow into a very, very politely mannered client. But he didn't stay because he actually didn't want to be a polite client. He really wanted to yell at people because that's what he liked to do. And it's like, well, that's to me, that's a bad client. And I think hopefully to you it is as well. He paid his bill. The work was easy. It was actually the work itself was a delight to do. He wasn't. So it all depends. Like there are things that will make a bad client, and only you're going to know what those are. But can you scale? Ugh. Should you? No, you should not scale if you've got bad clients weighing you down for all the reasons that Julia said. So you're absolutely right.
And the other part of that is you need to figure out why you have the bad clients. Is it a sales problem? Is it a pre-qualifying problem? Is it a culture problem? Kind of all the things that Laura mentioned. But if you don't know why you keep getting the bad clients, then you're going to keep having bad clients.
Yep. You don't want to repeat that process. Question 3, do I need SOPs, standard operating procedures, or can I just hire someone smart? Well, here's the thing. SOPs actually give you the tools to unleash the smart person to do smart people stuff. So if you build SOPs, what it does is it helps you to protect your smart hires. So do I need SOPs or smart people? You need both. It's kind of a trick question. You can't have one or the other. If you want your best performing people to be able to show up, have great results, really pour everything that they have into the role and really show up for you, not only can you hand them SOPs, but you can help them to create SOPs and refine SOPs.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with both. You could have really smart hires, but if you don't have SOPs or even any knowledge about what it is, why you need it, etc., you're going to lose those smart people because they're going to go elsewhere. If you have SOPs, but you have total morons working for you, then they're not going to know how to use the SOP, why to use the SOP, how to create a new SOP. You need both.
It is occurring to me as we say SOP 500 times, standard operating procedure is essentially a replicable set of instructions that you use to achieve a replicable result.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the simplest way to put it.
It's also like, what are your standards? So, like, we have SOPs for all kinds of things. And one of the easiest to kind of walk people through is blogs. How one person does a blog is going to be different than how another person does a blog. How one company does a blog and their standards and what they're looking for is different than another company. But kind of like the 101 basic version of blogging is pretty similar. So, our SOPs not only outline the 101 version of it, but our standards and what we're looking for, and also the editing, clarifying, optimizing, uploading, kind of all of those pieces. It's really, are you handing your staff the tools to do the job the best possible way?
Yeah, well said. Question number 4 is, should I automate before I delegate? And this is an interesting question. You know, I have thoughts on this, and they fall under the whole "it depends" argument. Um, some things you should automate and not delegate. Some
Mm-hmm.
things you should delegate and not automate. And sometimes you want to automate and then delegate the oversight of. That's where the whole "it depends." I mean, Julie, I know you know what I'm saying. I don't know if you want to add anything to that or put some extra color on it.
Yeah, so there can be things that are automated. So for example, you can automate some reporting, right? So we know, we've said it a million times, I've said it a million times on this podcast, that the analytics of your digital marketing are the lifeblood of how you make decisions, who's coming into your website, what's happening on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. You can automate that reporting. You can set it up so it sends you kind of just like the numbers, a specific data range of numbers. There's certain clients of ours that just want automated reporting, and that's fine. But who is going to then interpret that data? Right. So like you can automate it, that's fine, but like you can't automate the interpretation. You could delegate the interpretation, you could delegate setting up the automation and the interpretation, but one doesn't negate the need for the other. I think it's a trick question. It's not before, it's whether you should do both. So I don't think you necessarily have to have a person that compiles the data, but you have to have a person that reviews and interprets it. That's kind of like the best example I can give you.
No, that's a good one. I think, I'm a huge fan of automating what you can, because
Mm-hmm.
whatever you can have software or AI do for you, it tends to be more financially lean and more consistent and less prone to human error.
Yep.
Um, at the same time, there are things you probably don't want to automate because they will miss out on the benefit of human ingenuity. So, in the example that you gave about data interpretation, yeah, data collection, robots can do that. Even AI, like I like AI, um, but it's really not super amazing at taking data and telling the correct story. It
Mm-hmm.
looks for historical patterns, and it will often use patterns from other people who haven't built something great to
Mm-hmm.
arrive at its conclusion. So it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. And I mean, it's like we were talking about, I think in the last episode, we we're talking about like how AI just can't write like people can. It's missing soul. And when it comes to data interpretation, well, you need soul for that.
Right.
You need someone who can, take their years of experience of lived moments and lived experiences to actually put texture to numbers. Otherwise, they're just numbers with a flat diagnostic attached to it. There's
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, sometimes you just can't explain something through data. It's just like, I'm seeing this, and the last time I saw this was, years ago. AI and robotics and all of that stuff, it's not super good at anomalous information just yet. It's really, really good at consistent stuff. It's really good with data collection, um, giving you probably very high level, very generic interpretations of things. But there's no way, great example, like a marketing plan. Yeah, can AI help you build a marketing plan? Yes. A shitty one. It's not going to
Yep.
help you build a great one, because actual human beings know what makes it great.
Yeah. Another example of that. So I follow somebody on Instagram that does Olympic lifting. She's an Olympic lifting coach. She does remote coaching. And one of the things she talks about is exactly that. Could you have ChatGPT build you a workout plan? Yes. Absolutely, you can. I want a plan to get better at clean and jerk. It could build that for you, but it's going to be incredibly generic. It's not going to know about your wrist injury. It's not going to know the time of day you go and work out. It's not going to know the equipment you have at your gym, and it's not going to be able to talk to you through a different problem that you're having. Just like another thing that you could do is, so like we use in terms of automation, we use a tool called Grammarly, which you can have on your Word. You could have it in your, anything you use for content creation, and it can review for grammar, and that's great, and it's automated. But does that mean that you still shouldn't have somebody else who understands that client review the content? No, because Grammarly or ChatGPT doesn't know that, ABC Landscaper actually doesn't even offer that service anymore. So you need that human touch to be able to make sure that it's really connecting. Like Laura said, yes, you could have ChatGPT build you a marketing plan, but it's not going to speak to your resources and your budget and who your client is and where they make
And it
decisions.
will often give you bad advice.
Really bad advice and also outdated advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of AI, and I have to, love it for what it is, but also keep it in its place for what it is, because it's like, okay, well, you're good at certain things and you're not good at others. I will say it's really good at pattern recognition.
Mm-hmm.
However, the biggest, most dangerous aspect of using AI for automation or marketing, or honestly a number of different things, is it tends to pander to you and tell you what you want to hear versus what's actually helpful. If you don't know how to argue with the robot, you're doomed.
It can't be politely confrontational, which we talked about in the last
No, it's
episode.
actually programmed not to be. It's
Right.
programmed to be agreeable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
I
not
was
great.
had a really long chat with ChatGPT one day and be like, what are you programmed for exactly? Because I noticed this, 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 and this. What else? What are your guardrails specifically? It will tell you. And it's all about being agreeable, and it's about going for averages. It's not actually about challenging, calling people up.
Correct.
It's not about helping people to actually get great results. It's about making people feel good, which is super dangerous.
Well, and the other side of that, so I heard a podcast about how some people are using ChatGPT as their therapist because they want to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. But not all people, but a lot of people need a therapist that challenges them, challenges their way of thinking, challenges their assumptions, challenges the way they see their world. And ChatGPT is never going to do that. It's just going to reinforce what you're already thinking.
Yeah, it's actually really dangerous because it can put you in this circular thought pattern, and it can also lead you to believe that you're right when you're not. Let's say you bring, I mean, we're going slightly off topic here, but I think it's really important. Let's say you bring your marriage to ChatGPT. Hey, this is what's going on with my husband or my wife, and blah 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 blah. You're telling things only from your perspective. Who's to say you're being objective? You think you are. But if two people stand on both sides of a 9 written on the pavement, one person sees a 9, one person sees a 6. Who's correct?
Right. Right.
So it is skewed in your favor, and it basically, ChatGPT is going to give you "Yas, Queen" versus like, I'm going to call you out here. It doesn't do that.
Right. So another
It's
example.
a contrarian authority figure to do marketing, delegation, automation, all of it.
Absolutely. I was going to say another example is my friend Vanessa asks ChatGPT everything in her life, and she burned her finger on the stove the other day. So she asked ChatGPT about it, and ChatGPT told her she had second-degree burns. I go, did you send it a photo or just saying it's an owie? Like, your interpretation of the pain does not make it a second-degree burn. Like, I think you're going to be okay. Take some Advil.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that drives the point home. So, last question here is, why do I feel like I'm doing more but getting nowhere? And the candid answer for you is because you're trying to scale chaos, and you actually can't scale chaos. You can only scale order.
Yep.
The universe craves order. Humans crave order. Your business craves order. The more that you organize your business, the more that you create SOPs, the more you systematize things, the better off you're going to be.
And that goes back to the first point that we made in this episode about if you can't step away from your business for a month, then you are not ready to scale. If you can't step away from your business for a month, then you're going to feel like you're doing more but getting nowhere. If you can step away from your business for a month, for example, Laura's going to go away for a month in, I think it's about a month. And she's going to come back and things will be relatively the same. And she knows that things will be relatively the same. And so that means that it isn't doing more, getting nowhere. If you can't step away from your business for a month, then you really are trying to scale chaos.
Yep. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that lovely note, we're going to put a lid on this. Thank you so much for being with us. And we're excited to jump into episode 89 in the next
What?
episode. We're coming up on a hundo really soon. Thank you so much for being here. Please remember, if you ever need some help with marketing, scaling, making more money in general, come to us. We'd love to support you. You can always find us at vision-advertising.com. See you later.